All right, so moving on, we've got which competition formats do you prefer the most?
Now, most of you do prefer the two course runs, and it's kind of important why we decided to do that when we created Canadian Ninja League. We're also coming at this from athletes, as coaches, as spectators, as being every part of the competition. We traveled to a bunch of other competitions, and same thing was bringing value to a competition and really getting your money's worth. And especially where we are, the amount of travel that we need to do to get to a competition was a lot. There wasn't really anything at a driving distance. So when we got there, we wanted to get value and have fun and enjoy it. So we found that there was a couple of competitions that had more than one runs. We really, really enjoyed it. And the athletes that were there really enjoyed it, either at a smaller scale or at a larger scale. So we wanted to bring that philosophy into the Canadian Ninja League, that when a Canadian athlete goes to a Canadian competition, they get value and they get to enjoy the whole thing. Now, based on your feedback, most of you do enjoy that, but there are some pros and cons with it. The main thing is, yes, they become much longer days. You are running twice, and especially from the gym side, there was a lot of setup, a lot of preparation you need to do because you're doubling the amount of courses that you have. The good news is every single gym that was able to do this format, especially from season one, is able to do it. It feels kind of daunting as a new gym saying, I have to run everyone twice. But not only is that good for the athletes, it's good for the league, it's good for the competitions, it's good for almost everyone who participates in it. But sometimes becomes a really, really, really long day. It becomes a lot to set up. There's a lot of rig change. There's a lot of just explaining the walkthrough. But we do feel like it brings value, and most of you do agree. Mostly it's the long days. So we made it mandatory in season one that gyms had to have two courses. They had to. But again, just like your feedback agreed with what we thought was forcing a new gym, maybe a gym that's really small, who doesn't have that same amount of competitors or doesn't have the same amount of experience, forcing that gym to have to do two runs, just something didn't feel right about that. And we also didn't have the feedback from the community yet to see if you guys really, really did enjoy the value. We thought the value that a CNL competition was bringing actually did bring that. Most of you did agree. So what we're doing for this season, where it's now optional, it is optional for the gym to either do two courses or one course. So if you look at the schedule, you should see either it's going to be a multi-course competition or a single course competition. And if it is a single course competition, we're going to make sure that the value on that course should be similar. It will not be the same, but something similar, like a longer course, a more difficult course, something that ramps up. That when you go to that competition, it is not just a 3-minute course and you're just running it once. So that's what we're looking. And then for your feedback, again, from this season, having that option, does that make sense? Or should we go back to where we had it before, where gyms have to have those two courses? And that's what we're really hoping to see in this season, what the feedback from the gyms, the athletes, and the community is, if that's something that we want to implement.
Also, depending on costs, depends on value, or will dictate the value for those. Because again, from us all being athletes, we've traveled to multiple competitions in Canada, in the States, where you'd spend upwards of $80-$90 for a competition, be on it for maybe 3-4 minutes, and it doesn't feel like you have that value. For those that are going to be hosting only one-stage runs, it would be expected that the cost would be lowered, just to, again, keep value, not feel like you guys are wasting the athletes and parents are wasting a lot of money to only be on the course for 3-4 minutes.